Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello learners, I once again welcome you to the last lecture of the Unit 2, that is Economy in the Short Run. Learners, we have learnt in this unit that how the equilibrium in the goods market and the money market gets established. We also learnt that how do we derive the aggregate demand curve and also how do we derive the aggregate supply curve. Aggregate supply curve, we also saw that it is different in short run and long run. The analysis of the same and the discussion on the same has been done in the previous lectures in the same unit. So today, with this lecture, we will be ending with Unit 2. So let's move forward and see that what all we will learn today. If you see the outline of this lecture, today we will be discussing how the equilibrium of the aggregate price level and the aggregate output gets determined with the help of the aggregate supply and aggregate demand framework. Then we will also understand that what is this recessionary gap and inflationary gap. Later on, we will see that if there is a shift in the aggregate demand or the aggregate supply, how does it have an impact on the price level and the aggregate output. So let's start today's lecture. Introducing you to the concept of the aggregate demand and aggregate supply framework, we will say that this framework is talking about the simultaneous determination of the price and output such that there is an equilibrium in the goods, money and the labor market as well. That is, in this particular framework, we will also be talking about the labor markets, something which we have already discussed in the previous two lectures of AS and AD. So, this particular AS-AD framework is saying that through this framework, we will be seeing that how aggregate price level and the output level is simultaneously determined such that we see an equilibrium in the goods, money and the labor market. So the point of intersection of the aggregate demand curve and the aggregate supply curve gives us the output and price at which all these three markets, that is the goods market, money market and labor market, are in equilibrium. Now since this is something very similar to what you do in microeconomics, where we find the equilibrium price of a product by the intersection of the quantity demanded curve and the quantity supply curve. But since here we are talking about the macroeconomic concepts, we will see that the price level of the economy and the aggregate output is determined at a point where the aggregate demand curve becomes equal to the aggregate supply curve. Also, we will see that the full employment level of output, something which we saw in the previous lecture of aggregate supply, where we saw the potential level of output. So here the same concept is being used, where we are saying that the full employment level of output is determined with the help of your aggregate demand curve, short run aggregate supply curve and long run aggregate supply curve. So all those three curves, that is the aggregate demand curve, the short run average supply curve and the long run average supply curve, will together help us to determine the full employment level of output in the economy, which we also call as the potential level of output. So let us see that how it gets determined. As we've just said, that the equilibrium of your aggregate supply and aggregate demand is determining the GDP, that is the current GDP or the real GDP, and the price level. Now, if we see this graph, which we have just represented it graphically, if you are measuring the price level on the y-axis and the real GDP on the x-axis, and we all know, as we have seen in the previous lecture, the aggregate demand curve and the aggregate supply curve are basically talking about that what type of a relationship exists between the price level and the aggregate level of output. As we know, or we'll just revise it once again, the aggregate demand curve is downward sloping, indicating that when the price level in the economy is high, the real GDP or the current aggregate output is low. A fall in the price level leads to an increase in the current level of output. A detailed discussion on this we have done already in the unit of or in the lecture of aggregate demand. Going back to the relationship between aggregate supply and the price level, we had seen in the previous lecture on aggregate supply that we derive two types of aggregate supply curve. One is the short-run aggregate supply curve and other is the long-run aggregate supply curve. The short-run aggregate supply curve is an upward sloping curve showing a positive relationship between the price level and the real level of output or the aggregate output. So learners, what did it say? It said that when the price level increases, the total output or aggregate, your total supply also goes up. The aggregate supply goes up. We had seen the reasons behind it. We had seen the three models why this SRS goes up or short-run aggregate supply slopes upwards. Just reminding you of the three models, we had talked about the sticky wage model, we had talked about the sticky price model, and we had also talked about the misinformation model. And we had tried to see that why your SRAS slopes upward. So, this upper sloping line is showing a positive relationship between the price level and the GDP. Long-run average supply curve is a vertical line indicating that there is the full employment level in the economy is there, and whatever be the price level, in long run aggregate supply remains the same. These three things, that is the aggregate demand, short-run aggregate supply and the long-run aggregate supply curve, when they intersect each other, that determines the equilibrium level of the price level and the aggregate output or the current output. As we can see in this graph, these three curves, that is AD, SRAS and LRAS, are intersecting at a point where the price level is P and the output is YF. So this is the equilibrium level of price level and equilibrium level of output. So an intersection of the aggregate demand curve and the aggregate supply curve shows us the equilibrium. Again, full employment equilibrium. We have just discussed this concept. We have just introduced you. That is what is YF. Full employment, we say, is that level where all the resources in the economy are fully utilized. So the full employment equilibrium in an economy will exist where all the three curves will intersect at the same point. This is just a reiteration of the previous slide that we have done. That is, the equilibrium level of equilibrium in the economy will be achieved at the full employment level when the aggregate demand curve, which is downward sloping, intersects the short-run aggregate supply curve, which is upward sloping, and also the long-run aggregate supply curve, which is vertical. The point where all these three curves intersect, that we say is a point where the economy is in the full employment situation. This is P becomes the equilibrium price level and of the full employment, and YF shows that level of aggregate output when these resources in the economy are fully utilized. Now, learners, a very question arises in everybody's mind is, does an economy always remain at the full employment level? Or is it possible that we deviate from this equilibrium where we see full employment? Yes, it is very much possible. Two types of situations are there when this happens. First is called as a recessionary gap. What is a recessionary gap? we say a recessionary gap exists when the equilibrium occurs below the full employment output. That is, you see an equilibrium happening between the aggregate demand curve and the short-run aggregate supply curve. That is, the intersection is at the point level P, price level is P, output is Y. But what do we see here, learners? That your long-run aggregate supply curve, which shows the full employment or the potential level of output in the economy, is at a different point. Which, again saying the same thing, which we saw in the previous slide, we see that all the three curves, that is LRAS, SRAS and AD, are not intersecting at the same point. Your LRAS is away from the point where your aggregate demand and SRAS are meeting, or the equilibrium between the aggregate demand curve and the short-run aggregate supply curve happens at a level of output which is lower than the potential level of output. What does this mean? This means that the resources in the economy are not being fully utilized, or there is some unemployment in the economy. Because there is unemployment in the economy, this means that there is lack of demand probably. Therefore, we see that your Y is less than YF, leading to what we call as a recessionary gap. That is, there is a potential in the economy to produce more, but we are not fully utilizing our resources, and the major reason being that the demand in the economy is less. Therefore, we are producing to less than full employment level of output, and this situation where the intersection or the equilibrium of SRAS, that is short-run aggregate supply curve, and the aggregate demand curve is happening at that level of output, at that level of price, where the economy is not at the full employment level of output. This means that there is some disequilibrium in the labor market. There are people who are looking for work, but they are not getting work. So this situation is a situation of disequilibrium. Probably there is an equilibrium in the money market and the goods market, but there is not an equilibrium in the labor market. Another situation which can occur is just the opposite of the recessionary gap, which is called as inflationary gap. What does this say? This says that an inflationary gap is there when equilibrium is occurring beyond full employment level of output. As you can see in the graph given below, given here in the slide, what do we see? That again the aggregate demand curve and the short-run aggregate supply curve, they are intersecting at the point where the price level is P and the GDP or your current output is Y. There is an equilibrium established between AD and SRAS. But what do we see with the long-run aggregate supply curve, which indicates the potential level of output? It is at a lower point than the existing Y. So what does it indicate? It indicates that in the economy there is an overheating. That is, we are producing more than what we can actually produce. So in short run there is maybe an equilibrium, but there will be a greater inflation because of this, because what we are seeing is that we are overutilizing probably our resources. Hence, the prices are already also going up. That is, demand is more than the supply which we can produce in long run. This situation is called as an inflationary gap, which you can again see is that the potential level of output would have been at YF, but the current equilibrium is at a greater level of output. So the gap between this YF and Y is called as inflationary gap. So what we have just said is that it is not always that we will see a full equilibrium level or full employment where all the three curves will intersect at the same point. It can be a recessionary gap or an inflationary gap taking place. Now, let us understand that how the price level and your real output or the current output changes if there is a change in aggregate demand or aggregate supply. Because your equilibrium is determined by the intersection of aggregate demand and aggregate supply, it is very natural that if there is a change in any one of them, it will lead to a change in your equilibrium. Now, first let us start with the change in aggregate demand. Let us assume there is an increase in aggregate demand. Do you remember that in aggregate demand lecture, we had seen that how a shift in the aggregate demand curve can take place? That is, aggregate demand can shift outward or it can shift inward. How it can shift? It can shift due to any change which is taking place in the fiscal policy or in the components of aggregate demand. So let us understand this curve. What we have seen is, let us understand this. Let us assume that this is the situation where you have longer an aggregate supply curve at a potential level of output YF, but the current equilibrium is at a point where AD is equal to SRAS. If you remember, we have just discussed this. What is this situation known as, learners? This situation we had said is called as a recessionary gap. That is, we have a higher level of output which we can produce, but we are currently being in equilibrium at a lower level of output. So, recognizing this recessionary gap, the government through the use of fiscal policy may try to correct this gap by increasing the aggregate demand in the economy. How does the aggregate demand increase? Maybe by increasing your consumption levels, by increasing your government expenditure, which will push your aggregate demand curve outward. So, this means that by using an expansionary policy, we will see the aggregate demand curve shifting to the right from AD to AD1. What happens because of this is, because with an increase in consumption or the gross investment or the government expenditure or the net exports, if it is a open economy model, then this will lead to a shift in aggregate demand curve or an increase in aggregate demand. An increase in aggregate demand pushes you to a new level of equilibrium where your GDP will rise or your current output represented by GDPR in this graph will increase. You can see that also. Now the new equilibrium is at a point where LRS is equal to SRAS is equal to AD1. And the new GDPR has shifted from Y to YF. That is, it has increased from Y to YF. So, with an increase in C, I or G or net exports, your aggregate demand has risen, increased, shifted outward, which has increased your GDP. Not only that, it has also increased your price level. Your prices have gone up from P to P1. Right? Now, of course, we have seen that increase in GDP will lead to a decrease in unemployment. As you can see, your earlier situation was a GDP of Y. By increasing AD, you are utilizing more people. Therefore, you are reaching the full potential level of output, YF. So, unemployment has fallen. Also, the profits will also increase because prices have also risen and the level of output has also increased. So this is an impact on the price level due to a change in your aggregate demand. Now let us understand that what happens if this decrease in aggregate demand happens. Now let us see this graph. Again we draw all the curves. You have long run aggregate supply curve, you have short run aggregate supply curve, you have aggregate demand curve. The present equilibrium, let us say, is at a point where short run aggregate supply curve becomes equal to aggregate demand. So you get to a inflationary gap situation where equilibrium level current output is Y, whereas potential is YF. There is overheating in the economy. We have just said this is called as an inflationary gap. Now the government wants to reduce this excess demand which is taking place. So they will go for a contraction in the demand. A contraction in the demand will push the aggregate demand curve inside. It will push it leftward. So the aggregate demand curve now becomes aggregate demand 1. So this is now new curve is AD1. What has happened here, students? You again see that the equilibrium is occurring where AD1 is equal to SRAS and it also is equal to LRAS. Means we are trying to get back to the full employment or the potential level of output. Also, we see because this has happened, the price level has come down from P to P1. So the new equilibrium is at the full employment level of output with a lower price level. So what do we see? A fall in aggregate demand or a decrease in aggregate demand happens because consumption decreases, investment decreases, government expenditure decreases, or net exports fall. This leads your aggregate demand curve to shift inside. GDP, current GDP also falls because initial Y was at a higher level than the full level of full potential output level, which is YF. Price level is also gone down from P to P1. But on the downside, we will see that there will be some unemployment. Okay, why? Because probably we were making our resources to work more, which had led to an overheating. Because there is a reduction in the demand, this excess demand of labor has fallen. So maybe there will be a fall in employment or unemployment will increase, but the profits will also decrease because the prices have fallen and the output production has also gone down. So this is the impact of a decrease in aggregate demand, which we see that the prices go down and Y also falls. Similarly, let us see that what happens if there is a change in the aggregate supply, short-run aggregate supply. If shift takes place because of that. Similarly, we have again drawn this. You see a situation. This is your short-run aggregate supply curve at a lower output level than the full employment level. Let us say your short-run aggregate supply curve SRAS shifts outwards. We have seen the reasons as to why this happened. Maybe the input prices fall, your productivity increases, so you are able to produce more. The producers are able to produce more. This pushes the SRAS outwards. We get a new short-run aggregate supply curve as SRAS1. Now, what is happening, learners? That you are going back to a situation where aggregate demand AD is equal to the new SRAS1 and at the same point your long run aggregate supply curve is also intersecting. So you get to a new potential level of output where there is full employment YF. What has happened because of an increase in SRAS? We see your price level going down from P to P1 and output increasing from Y to YF. So again I will explain what has happened. With the decrease in input prices, increase in productivity or some deregulation by the government, policies are made easy, producers are producing more, which pushes their SRAS, which shifts the SRAS, that is short-run aggregate supply curve, outside. The new aggregate supply curve is, let us say, SRAS1. Because of this shift, you see a new level equilibrium is achieved where SRAS1 is equal to aggregate demand curve AD, and at this point your LRAS, that is long run aggregate supply curve, is also intersecting. So this equilibrium, the new equilibrium, takes place at a higher level of output YF. Do you see this shift from Y to YF? We see the Y has increased to YF. But prices have also fallen from P to P1. So because of this, your output increases, price level decreases. Also, unemployment will fall because new people will be taken to work because of an increase in output from Y to YF. But the profits would also fall because the prices have decreased. Now, a similar situation or the opposite situation of a decrease in SRAS. I think by now it would have been clear in your minds that how are we seeing this shift. So, we see that in this situation again, this is the equilibrium. SRAS shifts inside. Okay. If, for example, you were earlier in a situation of full employment, your SRAS shift inside. Why? It shifts inside because maybe the input prices have increased, your productivity has decreased, or government has started regulating your output. Therefore, your SRAS shifts inwards. Probably you were earlier at a higher level of full employment level of output. Because of fall in SRAS, because the SRAS has decreased, your aggregate supply has decreased, we see your GDP going down from YF to Y1. Because of this, what has happened? Because of this, the prices have increased. And why? Because you are producing less, we see the unemployment will also rise because less people would be required. But profits will increase because the prices have increased. So, the intersection of all the three curves, that is short-run aggregate supply curve, long-run aggregate supply curve, and the aggregate demand, are helping us to understand the equilibrium in not only goods market or money market or labor market, but a simultaneous equilibrium in all the three markets. If it is there, then what is the price level and the current output? So what we have understood in this lecture is, we have said the point of intersection of AS and AD determines price and output at which all the three markets, that is goods, money and labor market, are in equilibrium. Then we said that the full employment equilibrium exists where the aggregate demand curve intersects SRAS and LRS at the same point. This means that we might see an intersection of a short-run aggregate supply curve with AD, but it does not necessarily mean that at that equilibrium a full employment is there. Therefore, we talked about the concept of inflationary and recessionary gap, wherein equilibrium either occurs beyond or below the full employment level of output. Then we saw that how the shift in aggregate supply and aggregate demand curve leads to a change in the price level as well as the aggregate output level. So learners, this is the end for the Unit 2. In the next lecture when we meet, we will be starting the new unit. And again, I wish you happy learning, stay safe, stay happy.